Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. My name is Emily, and I am one angry woman. I feel like I was describing this to a friend who was also very angry, and we were like, I was like, I feel like I'm a rage fountain where it's just spraying everywhere. So I don't know if you all feel similarly, but the rage fountain is it's just like, so, you know, I have reasons for anger, but then like, I'll be really furious about something that doesn't really quite merit the fury. Like I got really mad at a show that I saw last night where it's like, I mean, it's annoying, the thing that I didn't like in the show, but like I like the feeling behind it was just like, all right, Davis, let's pull that back. It's not quite anyway. So for all my rage fountains out there, I don't know what we do about it, but we vote. That's the thing we do about it, but I don't know what we do. We work towards the vote. That's what we do. I don't know. Anyway. We manage. That's what we do. So today's blog is, it's like one of these things that was super current, and like it happened, I think a week and a half ago, and is already like old news. Like it doesn't even matter anymore. Except it kind of does, because I mean the actual circumstances I think have passed. It was just a weird social media moment, but I think we're going to continue to have more of these as we go along. So I don't think it's entirely insignificant still. Anyway, it is called Maybe It's Something, Maybe It's Nothing, or Much Ado About a Black Square. Last Saturday, women began to message one another about a social media blackout tomorrow. The message included a little black square to use as a profile picture. This was the message. Tomorrow, female blackout from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's a movement to show what the world might be like without women. Your profile photo should just be a black square so that men wonder where the women are. Pass it only to women. It's for a project against domestic abuse. It is no joke. Share it. I was instantly suspicious. First, because of the timing. In the middle of a profound protest movement developing among women, at the apex of women's rage, suddenly we are being asked to go dark on social media all day, to disappear, just stop the outpouring of rage and movement building so men will wonder where the women are? Huh? My first red flag was no one ever notices an absence on Facebook. How many times have you seen someone pop up with a status that says something like, I'm back. It's been a crazy year. What did I miss? Did you miss me? Nope. Hadn't noticed that you were gone, to be honest. Not because I don't care about you, Mr. Example Person, but because the algorithms that Facebook uses mean that I don't see all kinds of people all the time, whether they are there or not. So strategically, this plan seemed dumb and self-defeating. Next, it wasn't connected to any particular idea, not a day without a woman or a day without immigrants. It was not connected to any organization or to any movement. And that's not even getting into the problematic use of the word female here. I began to investigate because something about it smelled super fishy. From the vague project to the phrasing of the message to the fact that it was unsponsored to the strange air of secrecy around it, something just didn't seem right. I copied the message and Googled it. Turns out this exact same wording has been used multiple times before in the last few years. I couldn't find any debunking or source of it, but its strange repetition was enough to confirm for me that I would not be joining the blackout no matter who told me to. I decided to post my decision and my research because someone had asked me what I thought about it, and I figured others were likely in a quandary. My quick post about this was shared about as widely as one of my more popular blogs. I was not expecting that. And having suddenly been put into a position of authority on this topic by virtue of a couple of Google searches, I felt obliged to think about it even further. I saw a lot of comments about it on my posts that others shared, and those of others as well. One thing that stuck out to me was the notion that the message was received from a trusted source. This meant, I came to realize, that they got it from a friend they trusted. And those friends got it from friends they trusted. It came in our messages, not on our walls. The messages are where the real friends are, where there are no advertisements even. Yet. It occurred to me that this notion of receiving something from a trusted source is something that someone who wanted to spread misinformation on social media might exploit. People spread that Pizzagate nonsense because they got it from a trusted source. That is their friend. Everyone assumes the person before them vetted the thing. I have been guilty of it as well. I don't have time to be vetting everything I see on the internet. But I do try to vet everything I post on the internet. That's why, even though I received the invite from my most trusted source, I still investigated it. Have I done this every time? No, I haven't. But this experience with the black square will make me a lot more vigilant. But if it's something as easy as changing a profile photo and taking a little break from posting things, what's the harm? We could all use a little social media fast, couldn't we? That's the other comment I saw going through. Something along the lines of, what's the big deal? So what if it's politically motivated? Or another Russian manipulation of Facebook? It's just a profile pic. I won't go silent as suggested now that I've seen people are upset about this idea, but just posting a black square won't do any harm. And maybe it was all totally harmless. Probably it's just a little harmless meme in support of domestic abuse. Probably. Or it could just be some random meme that cycles through occasionally. Forbes says it was spam, basically. Big deal. What harm is done? Now, I don't know. I'm just a struggling artist. I'm not a cyber terrorism expert. But I do have an imagination and pay attention to just enough tech news to know that few of us are as savvy about the way we're technologically vulnerable as we should be. I can imagine a scenario wherein bad actors try out a harmless support meme that targets large groups of women at a time. Given that the resistance is something like 85% female, someone figuring out how to throw women into silence or disarray could be an important goal. Now, quick side note, I'm using the word bad actors in the sense that the tech industry uses the term, that is, people with bad intentions. Of course, if you're like me, you just picture bad actors, like saying lines in a wooden fashion and being totally awkward in their bodies on stage, but in tech. That's not what it is, though. It's bad guys, evildoers, tech villains. I heard a lot of women say that their trusted source had been a prominent, active women's advocate. That is, I suspect, the top line of the resistance. The especially active, the organizers, the leaders. It is not a stretch to imagine that bad actors from several angles would be interested in manipulating large groups of women on Facebook. The place where large groups of women center their social movements. It also makes sense to me that those same bad actors would know who to target at the top of the pile to make the thing travel as quickly as it did. I mean, have you ever tried to get thousands of people to do something? Millions of people? Or even just like dozens? I am chilled by the fact that in the space of a day, someone could orchestrate an event for the next day. That is extraordinary. I don't want to be an alarmist on this point. It is probably harmless. It's probably just spam, as Forbes reported, but I do think we have to learn to be a little warier. What's amazing about the message is how it exploits two major triggers for women. It speaks to our desire to help other women and to be finally appreciated or even just acknowledged by men. It reminds me of a workshop I took in self-defense. We had to learn how to say no really loudly. We role-played so we could practice saying no in real-life scenarios. The man in the role of the attacker was so skilled, though. He knew how to manipulate each person so well that even when we knew we were supposed to say no, it was still incredibly challenging. With me, I remember he tried to get me to help with his kids who were in trouble outside. Oh, I wanted to help. But I eventually found the strength to say no, and then later learned how to say no while kicking him in the balls and poking him in the eyes. He had a protective suit on. Don't worry. Anyway, I'm not writing this to shame anyone for posting a black square or going dark. Your intentions were sweet and good. You wanted to help. You were like me, hearing that there were kids in trouble out in the car. And I'm not even saying you should have said no to this and punched it in the balls or poked it in the eyes. I'm just suddenly keenly aware that to really look out for each other, sometimes we need to investigate for each other. We need to have each other's backs by being willing to be skeptical sometimes, by being willing to change our minds. One of the things that I watched happen over the course of this Black Square Day was a kind of digging in of heels. I saw women fiercely defend a thing they'd only heard of hours before. It was as if, in having made the choice, they took any skepticism about it as a personal affront. There were some serious rifts happening between women and communities over something as seemingly minor as a profile pic. I mean, wouldn't this be exactly what you wanted if you were trying to disrupt a democracy via Facebook? This particular post may not have been nefarious. Maybe it wasn't an attempt to distract furious American women and cause dissension among them. Maybe that photo they sent to everyone wasn't encoded with some sort of virus or malware. Maybe it wasn't practice for future nefarious plans. Maybe it was just nothing, no big deal. But the thing is, if it was an attempt at cyber manipulation, and we know this is a real thing that happens on Facebook in particular, it was targeting women specifically. And I fear that by talking about this to you, by making you aware of this possibility, I have maybe made myself a future target. So I'm going to need you all to watch my back. And if you see me heading outside with some guy I'm supposed to say no to, I'm going to need you to shout no really loudly and kick him in the balls. You know, in a digital sense. Thanks in advance. So much ado about a black square. I'm curious, for those of you who are outside of the country, was this an international phenomenon, or was it just really happening in America? Because one of the things that I Googled when I Googled this phrase or this paragraph, there was like a whole one that went through India. Some of my English friends were seeing this as well, but I'm curious as to whether this was targeted directly at Americans or it was further afield. So if you saw it elsewhere, let me know. I'm curious. And what's weird is I feel like there was something similar to this that happened a week later. And I can't even remember what it was now. But I think this is a thing we have to be aware of. Rage fountain. So, before I give you today's song, I would just like to remind you that there are other ways to hear me talk at you if you would like. In addition to this blogcast, you can hear me read my book for young people called Reading the Library Book. And you can listen to other songs on wherever you do your digital song listening. Just look up Emily Rainbow Davis, which is my full name, on whatever you're on, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Music, You can hear any of them there. And anything else you want to know about, you can go to my website, which is emilyrainbowdavis.com. You can also buy albums there under the music drop down, emilyrainbowdavis.com/music. All of the albums are available for sale there as well. And yeah, today's song is American Woman by the Guess Who. I was sort of trying to find a good one for this one, and I was doing a lot. Sometimes what I do is like I Google like phrases that have to do with the post, and I can't remember how I stumbled upon American Woman because it's not actually. There's nothing directly related to what I'm talking about here, but I ended up on some weird sort of song list article that was like 10 songs that are actually about war that you didn't know were about war. And there's something about American Woman that just struck me because in a way this post is about American women and having to, I don't know, the interplay between American women and what's going on with us. And I have adjusted the lyrics a little bit, so forgive me, the Guess Who. But that is what is about to happen here. So you will hear from an American Woman by the Guess Who. American woman, don't let 'em mess with your mind. American woman, don't let 'em mess with your mind. American woman, don't let 'em mess with your mind. I said American woman, don't let 'em mess with your mind. American woman, don't let 'em mess with your mind. American woman, don't let 'em mess with your mind. American woman, don't let 'em mess with your mind. American woman, stay away from me. American woman, mama, let me be. Don't come hanging around my door. I don't want to see your face no more. I got more important things to do than spend my time growing old with you. Now, woman, I said stay away. American woman, listen what I say. Yeah. American woman, get away from me. American woman, mama, let me be. Don't come knocking around my door. I don't want to see your shadow no more. Colored lights may hypnotize, sparkle someone else's eyes. Now, woman, I said get away. American woman, listen what I say. American woman, I said get away. American woman, listen what I say. Don't come hanging around my door. I don't want to see your face no more. I don't need your warm machines. I don't need your ghetto scenes. Colored lights may hypnotize, sparkle someone else's eyes. Now, woman, get away from me. American woman, mama, let me be. Go, gotta get away now. Go, go, go. I'm gonna leave you, woman. I'm gonna leave you, woman. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye. You're no good for me. I'm no good for you. I'm gonna look you now right in the eye. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. You know I'm gonna leave. You know I'm gonna go. You know I'm gonna leave. You know I'm gonna go. Whoa. I'm gonna leave you, woman. Goodbye, American woman. Goodbye. I said goodbye, American woman.